used to ask the question, did you do the best you can? Okay. Did you do the best you can? Yes, I did. I think I did. What do you give yourself out of a 1 to 10? What do you think it was? An 8. Okay. You can do better. There's some margin there to do better. Great. Right. So my questions changed. Were you prepared? Were you prepared? And then did you do the best you can?
Yeah.
That is completely different than
Very
did you
different.
do the best you can.
Very different.
I think an agent can say that. Yeah, I did the best I can in the home with the limited knowledge that I have.
My favorite question is now what could you do to be better?
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Life Insurance Academy podcast. Again, I'm rolling with my homies. Do they say homies still? Are people saying homies?
They say whatever you want us to say.
Okay, we're going to say homies.
Well, when you bring it in every time and neither of us gets to bring it in, you get to determine that. So
let's reset this. We're going to flip it. Hey, Roger, why don't you bring us in today?
Well, you already did. You already did.
Kind of kills the vibe a little bit.
You did. You just brought it in. Homies. We're your homies.
You're my homie. See, we're homies.
There we go.
We chest bump.
Drake calls them his woes.
His woes?
His woes?
That's new stuff, man. I'm amazed by
Woes?
vernacular. Language moves so fast. Like this podcast is going to right after this banter. So, hey, Zach, good to see you again. Roger, it's always good to see you on the podcast.
See, that's why you bring it in.
That's right.
That's why you bring it in.
That's right.
Why he brings it in, folks.
That's right. Well, today I want to start off this podcast with I guess it would be a scenario. Okay.
But don't hold back.
I'm not going to.
What are we calling it?
What, the podcast episode? I don't want to name the episode until we clarify this scenario, until we solve this scenario. Breaking it down, is that what we're doing?
Breaking it down?
Breaking down the scenario?
Breaking it down.
Breaking it down. We'll call this one Breaking It Down. So we have a channel inside of Slack that allows people to put in help requests if they're sitting with a client and they need some information to be able to close a sale. So we call it like a help life channel. We'll give that example, okay? And inside of this channel,
They don't even know what Slack is, Chris. You're
some
just
people
using
do.
Words.
No, lots of people do. Right? What would you call
Maybe.
Slack? It's a communication.
It's a communication channel.
It's a community of life insurance agents that help each other.
Yeah, I think it's very
Inside of
simple.
a technology tool called Slack.
Correct. Yeah. So we get a lot of questions in regards to underwriting, and maybe I don't have a way to calculate a rate for a client, things like that. So it's open source in our community to be able to help people out. And some of these questions that we get are related to, like I said, underwriting or in regards to calculating a rate. So in these scenarios, this is the thing that I've run into. All right. I have a scenario where I'm answering a question about a rate. No problem. So I put the rate in there. Maybe they don't have service in the home that they're sitting with the client in, right? So I post that. Later, there are some follow-up questions to some underwriting, which is a little weird when you've given a rate,
Yeah.
So there's some follow-up
Should have got
questions.
the underwriting out of the way first.
Correct. Some questions about underwriting. I see people have answered that. And then I may have a conversation with that agent later on about this scenario. Like they're saying, hey,
Typical
Chris.
coaching.
Yeah, some coaching, right?
Yeah.
We're having a coaching conversation. And I found out that those questions are being asked after the sit or after the presentation. So whether they're on the phone or whether they're in the home, they have left. And now they're trying to problem solve this scenario for their client from that. And they're not getting the sale. They're never seeing that person again.
But they think they are.
Yes.
They think they're going back.
Correct. And they're getting ghosted. Boom.
So first of all, Chris, you made a face. Well, you make a lot of faces. But you made a face when you said that they asked for a quote and then they asked underwriting questions. What red flag went off in your head?
That they haven't committed to a process
Okay.
that would allow them to build trust and give accurate information to their client.
Yep, and this is scenario because there's a variety of agents in our Slack channel, and there's a variety of agents out there as far as experience. Some of them are brand new; they don't know a process, or they're in the process of learning a process, or they're a veteran and they've been doing it. And obviously, you've done it a lot of times. And that face told me that you've made that mistake before, probably when you were just learning. So I just wanted to kind of bring some attention to it. But yes, we only know that because we've made those mistakes before.
Yes, many times.
So what we're doing today is we're taking common scenarios that we hear from new agents that get asked of us, and we're breaking it down as to why they got themselves in that situation, how they can prevent it in the future,
Yes.
and how they can win in the home or on the sit on the first go instead of coming back to it, revisiting it a second time.
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
I would agree. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Breaking it down.
Yes. So in these scenarios, an agent walking out of the house and feeling like they can go back and visit that client when they have enough information for them to present a solution to their problem, that's not going to work in this business.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I mean, it may work depending on the type of client it is.
Absolutely.
If it's an annuity client, it's going to work.
Yes.
Because an annuity client's not going to close in one call.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting statements, earning trust, doing a transfer of funds all in one shot with an annuity client, especially when you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Write that check for $1 million.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. So there's a process for that. But that process is a committed process, which includes gathering information, putting together some options, coming back. It's a part of the process. You're doing a mortgage protection sale or a final expense sale over the phone, via Zoom, or face-to-face, different. Aha! It's a different process.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so reaching out for those answers afterward, a little late.
Right.
How do they get themselves in that scenario? That's the question.
Yes.
How did they get themselves there? How to fix it so it doesn't happen again?
Yeah, and I think the first issue for these agents who are experiencing that is an issue of competence.
Mm-hmm.
I think, well, actually, it's that relationship of competence and confidence together.
Mm-hmm.
They don't feel confident that they can move forward because they don't have enough information in regards to be able to move the process forward.
Or they may not have prepped well enough,
right,
practiced enough.
Right, and that's my question, for my kids, whenever they're doing something. I used to ask the question, did you do the best you can? Okay, did you do the best you can? Yes, I did. I think I did. What do you give yourself out of a 1 to 10? What do you think it was? An 8. Okay, you can do better. There's some margin there to do better. Great, right? But then I started paying attention to my son's process. Their process in this. Like, did you? They grab their bag at the last minute. They throw it in the car. Oh, I forgot my cleats. This happened yesterday. I forgot my cleats, and we live out in the boonies and we got to drive 10 miles before you make the right decision and turn around and come back, So we have to go back, get the cleats and all this. So my questions changed. Were you prepared? And then did you do the best you can?
Yeah.
That is completely different than
Very
did you do the
different.
best you can.
Very different.
I think an agent can say that. Yeah, I did the best I can in the home with the limited knowledge that I have.
My favorite question is now what could you do to be better?
Yeah.
Learning from everything you
Correct.
did right and everything you did wrong in that scenario.
Yeah.
And that will reveal the lack of preparation or understanding or competence in your field or your area that you're working in.
Yeah.
All right, so let's break down one of these scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's break down a scenario.
Do you like this specific one? You want a new
let's
one?
Break
or
down,
this
let's
one?
break down one of these.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll use that specific one. So,
Okay.
agent who's in that home and he has these questions that are coming up. Evidently, he or she doesn't know much about the underwriting process. So, number one, how do we do underwriting? Number two, how do we present a solution to the client so that they can make a decision in the sit immediately?
Mm-hmm.
Those are.
Let me back up. How do
Okay.
we discover the real need so we can
Yes.
present the proper solution
Correct.
to the client? You jumped ahead there too.
Yes.
You left the cleats home.
Yeah.
We're circling back, right?
Yeah.
How do you uncover the real need so you can present a proper solution?
Right. So our first issue for our client for our agent is, do you understand the process? Do you understand the sales process? What training have you had? Are you engaged in Life Insurance Academy?
Yeah.
Podcast. I mean, just from the podcast, we know agents who've gone from 2,000 AP to 7,000 AP annualized premium for new people who are just getting started. That means annualized premium, and we're seeing profitability increase just by listening to the podcast.
Or subscribing to our courses and coaching program.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Or you're plugged into your upline who has a training system, a process. Someone who is successful, very successful. What is their process? Do you know it?
And that's the first question for that agent is what was your process when you were sitting with your client? Tell me about it. Tell me from the moment you sat down with them. So obviously you did a good enough job to get on the phone with them or have a conversation with them. There was a level of trust. Tell me what that looked like. So I'm listening for them to share with me how they got to this issue. So asking questions.
Hey, Chris, in this stage right here, when I'm debriefing client sits or presentations or meetings, whatever you want to call them, the thing I'm looking for in your position here is, were they going through the motions? Were they asking the right questions? And most importantly, were they listening to what is being said, but what is also not being said?
Correct.
And that's their body language, the clues or hints where they stopped a sentence where you can tell if there's more there or not, even emotionally or financially, that could lead down other opportunities. So this is the gathering information stage. Mm-hmm. And the only way you can do that is to be on high alert and be very assertive to be able to listen and receive all that information. But the best way to do that is to be able to ask questions.
100%, man. Yeah, absolutely. Is asking specific questions to understand their level of engagement.
And that's so important because I can't tell you how many debriefs I've been through with agents. And I don't care what the client would ever say to them. They're saying this line, and then they're saying that line, then they're turning the page, and then they're going here, and they're presenting that price. No matter what's going on in your life, you're getting that same price.
That's right.
And it's crazy to me that they're so systemized that it doesn't matter what the heck the client's saying. It's like a cookie cutter sales process instead of a customized experience for the client.
Well, we get these other questions that pop into the channel and in our groups. I'm sitting with a 71-year-old client. You know, he's got diabetes and he's looking for a term product for his mortgage protection plan.
Yeah.
He's got diabetes. He's overweight, and he's a tobacco user. And he might have COPD. He uses an inhaler. What term product can I get him?
Yeah.
Like, wrong question. First of all, like, how did you get there? And, oh, by the way, so why don't you step out from, if you're asking this question, can you step out of the home so I can debrief with you a little bit? Oh, no, I'm no longer there. I've already had the meeting.
Yes.
I'm planning on going back. Mm-hmm. Like, what happened? Yeah, I got a call back to give them some
Let's back that up. So there is a debrief with the agent when they've backed out of the home and had this conversation.
Correct.
The first thing we want, though, is in that conversation is to help them value the time that they have with their client in that moment. There's a complete misunderstanding of this process of specifically simplified issue sales, simplified issue life sales, that these are generally a one-sit close. In most cases.
100%.
Yeah, he says 100%. I said generally. He said 100%.
Unless it turns into an annuity conversation or some other thing like that.
Or there's it turns into maybe a big IUL case that you do have to
with
do
a younger family, and
yes.
you're talking about insurance for other purposes other than just a death benefit or a critical illness, something like that. Yeah.
But if you're an agent, don't give yourself off the hook. You know what leads you're running. You know the process should be, right?
Yes.
Like if you're running final expense leads, you need to be in the mindset that this is a one call close, that this is a one sit sell. And for the reasons of you're taking them on an emotional journey, you're dealing with a certain demographic, a certain income level, a certain specified client that would normally fit this profile that we want for final expense. And typically, you're not getting 100% return on leads. It's typically around 1%. 1% on that.
It's around 1.
And
get one lead back out of 1,000.
I gotta sell this.
I get one lead out of 1,000.
Exactly. So when you look at that,
those leads,
you're going to be, you're taking them through an emotional journey. There's natural non-trusting factors that you have to overcome at the beginning. You got to go through. Then you have to get them in a mind frame of liking you, loving you, trusting you. And then you're getting into the emotions of why it's important, and there could be tears and things coming out. And you're going through that entire process. you don't want them to. That's the mind frame that they have to be in order to make an emotional decision on their family. You can't make an emotional decision if you're not emotional, right?
Yeah,
you
an emotional decision that reinforces a logic to it.
Exactly. So once you're back out of that, you lose all that stuff you've already done.
You have to start it all over again if possible.
And you think you're going to come back into that home and to be able to, and it can be done, but if you think you're going to come back into that home, sit down for 2 minutes and like, I know this was really important to you. Let's get this taken care of. It's going to be a whole different atmosphere. If you don't believe me, try it.
Yeah.
But you're literally going to have to hit the reset button and go through the whole journey again from almost start to finish with the emotional side of things to get them back in the state to where you can pick up where you left off. Yeah. And the chance of that happening is probably drops it down from your, maybe 30% or less of that being successful.
Down to 1.
No, I mean, I'm saying when you're in the sit there, you're at 100 because you got them in that emotional state. You got that trust, and you probably drop all the way down to 30% from trying to revisit and regain that cell.
Well, there's a question of your competence, your competence and credibility. Yeah, that you don't have the answer for them
because they're expecting if you get there, they're moving forward. But you are so hesitant, you don't move forward, and so instead of doing what you should do, you bail out of the call, hoping to gather more information later to come back. And so what are some solutions when people are in this scenario?
The first solution is to pick up the phone and have a conversation with somebody who's been down there before or been in the sit before. That is the first solution. And it's easy. I think agents are worried about the competency, showing a lack of competency in that moment of picking up the phone.
Yeah.
And it's not. It
actually shows more credibility.
It does, because you can say, Mr. Roger, I'll tell you what, I've got a pretty good idea of what this is going to look like for you and how we can meet the needs of you and your family. I want to make sure we're making the best decision for you, that together we are doing that. So I'm going to call my manager real quick and get his feedback on this.
That's perfect.
I think that's okay.
To me, if you said that to me and I was the client, I'd feel better about the consult. Yeah. Now I've got 2 people looking at my situation rather than just 1.
Yeah. My clients or my product specialist. You can even say that. You can say whatever you want in regards to that, who that person is.
You can say I'm calling one of our underwriters.
Yeah. I'm calling one of our underwriters.
You can call a carrier, or you can call somebody on your team, or you can call somebody in your organization, or
phone a friend.
Yeah.
But it looks like to the client that you're putting in extra work, you're being extra diligent, you care about the result, and whatever decision comes back to you, it's been verified by 2 or 3 people at this point. They're not going to question that decision or your knowledge.
And the great thing when you do that and you do call somebody who has some expertise who can guide you through this, you're going to pick up some cool stuff, because if you're calling me, I'm probably going to check the underwriting where you're at that point. And I may say, okay, did you go through an underwriting process? Did you ask the questions on the application? No, I didn't. Okay, let's do that first. Let's, I can follow up on that.
Well, he told me he was in the hospital.
Yeah.
What was that for? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're trying to quote him $200,000 right now.
We know when you call and you ask that question and I say, what inhalers is he taking right now? Mr. Jones, what inhalers are you taking? Like, okay, well, you didn't ask the questions. You're taking shortcuts. So that helps us on that debrief.
We cannot present a solution, and we would never want to, and agents do this a lot, present a solution to a client that we don't know that we can even get them. Like, that doesn't make any sense. If it doesn't matter what they want,
and then it devalues the solution that you do have for them.
Right.
Yeah. Right? So first, if we were going to break this down, number 1, you got to go in prepared.
100.
Know a process.
100, as the kids
Follow
say.
a process from somebody who's successful. A system, a process, and a mentor.
That you own.
That you take ownership of. So you're working through a process. And guys, if you just want to, just a high-level overview of this, I did a video about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, called The 5 Fundamentals of a One-Call Close. It covers the 5 things you've got to cover in a sale to move it from start to, presenting the solution.
That will make you so much money.
It's on YouTube. It's on the Life Insurance Academy. Go look it up. Adam, you can probably throw it in there somewhere or put it right here.
He's pointing at it right now.
There, right here. Okay. So you can put a little notation in there. So go look at that, number 1. So follow a process. Be prepared. Number two is what? Don't circumvent the process when you're in the home.
Right.
Don't let the client lead. When the client says, yeah, I only got a few minutes. I just need $50,000. How much is $50,000? Okay, well, let me start getting some quotes.
That is the issue
Boom,
right there.
you just jumped completely out of your process. You may know your process, but now you're letting the client lead. You got to lead. Don't circumvent the process and jump to what the client wants, because the client, what he wants may not be available. And you've got to uncover, number one, the real need.
Yes.
Number two, you got to uncover what he can qualify for. And number three, you got to present a viable solution that can actually meet his need.
That's a big one there, Roger, because the agent at times, you don't want to have to back up all your words. And when you gather all the information first, you may know as an agent, I need to reset the expectations of this client.
Correct.
He may be thinking he's wanting $150,000. And I know, based upon the information I've gathered, that I have to reframe this conversation of what's important and to have something's better than nothing. And it may be going from a term policy to a final expense to re-engage and protect their assets or their family in a different way. You may have to do all of that before you can present the process and come back around.
I'm going to be this agent. Okay. So in my mind,
do it.
In my mind, this is what I'm thinking. But Mr. Jones, he's got this house, he's got this mortgage for $50,000. I know he's got COPD, and I know he's got diabetic issues along with some nerve pain in his feet. I get it. But he really wants this. He really wants it.
Who can get it? Where can I get it?
So maybe the solution is a fully underwritten product.
Oh my gosh.
I know there's got to be a fully underwritten option for him that he can get. You're laughing. Stop laughing. This is really me.
I'm in painful.
I'm in the home with the client right now, you know? Like, that should be okay, right?
No.
That's what they're I know it because I've thought it.
Who's the licensed agent, him or you? Right?
Yeah.
That's when we slow down the thing. It's like, no.
Diving on them, pushing them out of the way.
Pushing them out of the way. Don't go there. That's oh my gosh. But for some, that comes from someone who's not prepared.
Right. And this is their argument in this. Okay. I know the argument in this is I want to do what's best
for the client.
Slow motion.
Yeah.
Right? I want to do what's best for the client because that's what's best
Adam
for
can
them.
probably slow that
Having
down.
coverage or having no coverage?
Right. That's the question.
Right.
Well, in their mind is thinking the best coverage. But what you're really saying is, I'm going to give you like a 0.5% chance of getting covered with my process.
Yes.
Yeah. But if we can get that 0.5 approved, it's going to be fantastic.
Right. So it's an issue of a lack of understanding of your client, your products, your services, and what else is there?
You're circumventing the process. You're jumping out of the process. Yeah. And so then I would say, number one, you got to be prepared. Number two, stick to the process. Lead the client. Don't let the client lead you. And number three, when you have a question, reach out
in the
at
home.
the moment. While you're on the phone call, while you're on the Zoom, while you're in the home, reach out, consult live, real time, get support in that moment, and you can come to a solution and present it and close it right there.
I mean, if that helps you get one more application a week, that will change everything for you. One more, but I know it will get you more. Trust me, I know it well. So
there are some groups, there are some teams that work with us. The part of their process is whenever you get to a place and you feel any hesitancy whatsoever, you're calling. You're calling. Number one, for validation. Number two, for underwriting support and for option presentation. So that, number one, the person that you're calling can say, first of all, you're in great hands. You're with somebody who really cares about you. Number two, let's discuss your scenario. And number three, here's what I would recommend. And I think you're right in thinking that. And here's what I would recommend based on your situation. We can likely go ahead and get that application process started now. He'll go get that started for you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you move forward and close. Yeah. So it's some groups have that as a part of their process. The minute there's any hesitancy, reach out. It's
and
a
I think
part of the process.
most of your uplines would want that.
Yes.
Yeah. So make the call, regardless of where you are. If you feel stuck, make the call, and I think you'll see some cool stuff.
Breaking it down.
Did
we break it down?
I think would be really cool. I think we should get our listeners out there to either send us a full detailed email or a recording of all the details of a particular sit or situation that they've had, and they not really know what direction to go on. And maybe we can reveal a few of those on an actual episode and go through every detail and be able to respond in those in real time.
As if it's a live coaching.
Right.
We can break it down.
We're going
For
to break
you.
it down. I like it.
We'll break it down for you.
Cool. All right. I hope you guys
Would you
do
like that?
I,
Would they like that?
why
Would
not?
you like that? We can't let them. We got to let them answer.
Oh,
Would you
okay.
like that?
Did they answer?
I think they said yes.
Wait a
I
second.
think there's a resounding applause. Yes. Did you hear it? Oh.
Are you drowning or are you? I'm a little worried about what's going on over there.
He might be, and it might be his last lifeline.
We'll save you, buddy. But if you would like that type of support, please do. What email are we sending it to?
Tell them.
Info
Yeah.
at
info@lifeinsuranceacademy.org.
there you go.
Boom. info@lifeinsuranceacademy.org. We want to hear your scenarios. We'll unpack it right here on the Life Insurance Academy
They
podcast.
can also, if you're on Instagram, you can shoot us a direct message on Instagram.
Yeah.
You can shoot us a direct message on Facebook.
Yep.
At any one of our pages for Life Insurance Academy. You can find us there. If you're not following us there already, you should be. Duh. You should be. Follow us so you get the notifications. But you can message us there or send us an email.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Thank you guys so much, and we will catch you on the next Life Insurance Academy podcast. See you then.